Bonnie, but we don't have Jim. Okay. I want to start by saying that I had a large meeting last night. I have 2 laptops. My internet crashed both times. I ended up being a black box with not even my headshot. And I was chairing this other meeting. All they heard was my voice. So if I disappear, Pam and I have talked about this already, continue on, and I'm going to re-sign on my iPad, but I don't think it's the instruments. I think it's my internet service. So tomorrow I'll talk to Optimum, but just warning you, I might vanish. I want to start by saying that we have a little bit of a change in how we're going to do this. Bonnie and Jack and I, those are the 3 members of this group that are from the council board, met a few weeks ago, and in discussing, we started to discuss how we're going to evaluate the projects that are going on, how we're going to deal with an award ceremony, and this being January and the last meeting being in May, we sort of were not sure how to go about this, since we do realize that a lot of institutions have processes that are taking time to get through the board, to get funding if it's needed, whatever. So we made a decision, the 3 of us, to turn this into a 2-year project instead of a 1-year project, so that everyone will have time to go through whatever their individual project and institution needs in order to reach some conclusion, so that we can have great stories to tell about what progress this group made at the end of 2 years. So that's the big change. And I think that relieves the pressure on a lot of trying to get someplace by really the end of April. It's just a few months from now. So with that said, what I'd like to do is just go around the room, the virtual room, and have everybody just tell us where you're at, so we get an idea of what's happening at each synagogue, and if you're facing obstacles, share them, because that may help other people as well. I know in my experience, there were plenty of obstacles in getting some greening projects off the ground. So I'm going to go around the way I see you on Zoom. I know everybody sees the boxes differently, but Beverly, would you start? You're my first box.
Sure. I'm Scarsdale Synagogue, Tremont Temple in Emmanuel. And we've had a big, our sanctuary has been renovated. So that was a very big project. It is not even completed. I have gotten involved in greening. I spoke with someone, and we've decided that our biggest step would be to change some of our fixtures and our lighting. We had someone come in a while ago and said the LED couldn't be done because of the fixtures, which is true. Some of them are very, very old, and they wouldn't. So that right now, we've had electricians come in, told us what we need, and that's the step I'm taking. We're doing some work on the trees outside, and pruning and cleaning up and being aware of what we have, the beautiful landscaping we do have, and wanting to maintain it. And that's it. We haven't done the recycling. We haven't been in Temple.
Yeah, that's another issue that I didn't bring up, which is true, that a lot of these projects require to be there, obviously, and that's not happening yet either. So, okay, thank you. Judy.
We had some breakthroughs finally, yay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I reported that we are signed on for community solar. Bedam Shalom is. We haven't been assigned a project yet, but I'm hoping that will happen. We did sign on to Westchester Power, the green option. That was easy. They said, why didn't you start with that? And I thought, well, if we started with that, we probably wouldn't go for the community solar, which was harder. So it was a little strategic on my part. And the thing that's going on now is we have a new education director. Her title is Director of Education and Family Engagement, which by the time I learned it, I really appreciate how perfect that title is. She is wonderful. She's young.
What's her name?
Lisa Jacobs.
In case we run into her. Okay.
Yeah. I should have shared this meeting with her, but I forgot. So, but Monday, she had me come in to teach the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th graders about composting. And those kids know so much.
Wow.
They are really, they're up on the problems and some of the solutions and the problems with the solutions. They are really super aware. And one of their problems is that their parents don't listen to them unless there's somebody else, an adult, chiming in. So, and they talked about the fact that their schools compost, the kids do, but then the staff throws it in the garbage. Makes your head explode. And that's just an ongoing problem. And then the recycling, the kids recycle, and then the staff throws it all in the garbage. So the kids are really up on it. And oh dear, I have to make this go away. There. But, and we talked about the wheelabrator and how
I
bad
don't know
it
what that
is.
is.
Westchester does not use landfill. Westchester's garbage goes to a
Incinerator.
waste to energy incinerator, which sounds wonderful. It's 37 years old and it spews out, 70% of the garbage goes into the air as toxins, and the other 30% gets trucked to Connecticut, where the folks are tired of accepting it and don't want to. And so we need, and one little 7th grader said, I said, how are we going to solve this problem? And he says, produce less. Duh. So food scrap recycling would go a long way toward that. And it's a huge lift to get everybody behind it, and then to get the staff behind it, and then to get the municipality. I mean, White Plains is behind it, sort of, for home, but not necessarily for commercial. So we'll see. But yeah, they sound they're interested, and there will be follow-up, and stuff will happen, and they will want to do an actual recycling rather than putting out 2 bins with 2 big plastic bags, both of which accepting garbage, and everything goes in the garbage. So it's just a waste of another plastic bag, as far as I think.
And more plastic. Yeah.
More plastic. So we're going to be working on that. And of course, we don't meet in person.
Yeah.
So by the time we do, we're hoping that the kids will be involved, and the administration will be working with, and we'll make some progress. Because I think we have a few ears now.
Fabulous.
What temple is Bonnie with?
Colony.
Me. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm with Ben Shalom.
So I'm delighted to hear that the kids are not only on board, but way more on board than a lot of the adults are. We don't have the time. The planet doesn't have the time for them to grow up and take over. So they have to get very vocal with their adults. And it's great that they are. It's encouraging to hear. Thank you. Bonnie, you're my next box.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm with Colony. And right now, we just finished getting our second Trex bench for our campus. We did that by recycling 500 pounds of plastics. We asked everybody in the synagogue to drive by and deposit like all their, single-use plastics, and we save it up, and it's free. We just bring it to a place every week, and then when we get 500 pounds logged, Trex sends us a beautiful outdoor bench for our campus, and we're starting our 3rd one. So that's really exciting.
That's fantastic. Would you put that connection in the chat box or send an email to
For
everybody?
Trex, yes.
Because that sounds like something that a lot of people could do with not too much tumult.
Yeah, exactly. And it's free, and it's a real community builder. I will get that link, and I'll send it to you. After
Yeah,
this.
that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're also planning for Earth Day. We're going to do a native plant sale, which is great because we want to make our our area here hospitable to monarch butterflies and others that require nature plants for their survival, natural, native plants for their survival. And we just got certified by Interfaith Power and Light. We're now officially a cool community, a cool synagogue. I forget what it's called, a cool congregation. That's what we are, a cool congregation for all the energy efficiency work that we've done and
Great.
reducing our carbon footprint. And I also one final thing I want to mention to everybody is that we're hosting a film called Unbreathable on February 4th. And everybody here is invited to it, and you can invite other people. It's going to be remote. It's basically a look at 50 years of the Clean Air Act and the challenges we still face to make sure that air is healthy for everybody. And we're also having the filmmaker speak at the Shabbat services. So she's going to kind of introduce the film. And then after, we're going to watch the film. And then after that, she's going to take questions and answers. Her name is Maggie Burnett Stogner. And so it's going to be February 4th. And actually, I just emailed the flyer to you, Marty and Pam. So, if you could send that on to everybody else, that would be wonderful.
Yes. Pam, if it's not too late, it's not too late at all, to get it in the newsletter, in the council newsletter, if that's possible, that would be super duper, the flyer. Yeah. So, Bonnie, I guess the flyer has the Zoom link in it.
Yeah, it has all the information, and then I'll look for I want to just be mindful on this call, so I'll look for the Trex stuff after the call and send it to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great, because we'll send an email out probably tomorrow as a follow-up to this meeting, and we can include that in
Okay,
that.
and just one last thing, Beverly, it doesn't make sense to me that someone told you that they couldn't upgrade your lights to LEDs because the fixtures were too old. The answer to that is to replace the fixtures. And, if I take off my Kola Me hat and I put on my business hat, this is what I do every day, my whole life, is I do lighting upgrades and I get Con Ed to pay for part of it. So if your electrician solved the problem for you, that's great. Just make sure that they're also getting you the Con Ed rebate money. If they're not, they ask them to do it. And if they don't know how or can't, have they already started installation yet?
No. We just
Okay.
get bids. Yeah.
Okay, so if they haven't done anything yet, call me, I'll send an order to you and we'll figure out what you really need. We do this all the time, and we've done it for other synagogues in the area too, so including Colony. So
Fabulous.
happy to.
How do I get everybody's? I think I have yours, Bonnie, from last year or something, but that would be great to have people's name, their congregation, and their emails or
Email
something.
address. So Pam can do that. Pam has the list.
Great.
Just to, and it doesn't have to be this instant, obviously, Pam, but just the name of everybody on the roundtable, their congregation and their email address, so that they.
So I can share the people that are on this, who, if everybody agrees, but I can't share the greater list because I don't have their permissions, unfortunately. So if everybody here agrees, I can share this grouping if that's okay.
Anybody object to that? Speak now or forever. Okay.
Okay.
That's great. Yes. Okay, Andrew.
Oh, I think Robin's going to speak for Greenberg.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak, but I'm at work, so I'm leaving I'm trying to work at the same time.
So you're a black box. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a black box. Yeah, so actually I've spoken before last year, but I'm with the Greenberg Hebrew Center, and we have an active, small but active green team. I mean, I know I've spoken before, but we got a new composter last year, and I spoke about how the old compost went to Untermeyer. That was great. I think we have a lot of LED lights. I'm not really sure. The kids do recycle in the classrooms. We are running kiddishes now. They're small kiddishes. So we are composting in our new composter. We actually have Green Team Shabbat a week from this Saturday on January 22nd, because it aligns with Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat's next Monday, as you all know. So we're doing Green Team Shabbat next Saturday. Probably will not be a very big crowd. We're expecting maybe 25 people. But
Yeah, I
our
was going to ask you if you're doing these in person. You are, huh?
Yeah. We have services in person. We live stream everything. We Zoom
Uh-huh.
Friday nights and live stream on Saturdays. So people can watch on Saturday. We have parts we've given out, and then we're running a green kiddush. That the kiddush will be pretty much vegan, vegetarian. It'll be very, very simple kiddush, trying to minimize use of plastic. So we're going to use all the plates and silverware that we have in our kitchen without having to use any disposables. The other thing is, actually, I edit the synagogue newsletter the email newsletter that goes out every Wednesday. And so we've started like sort of green tidbits every week, a green suggestion or some information that we, you know what, I actually have to run right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have something that we run in our newsletter every week that is very green. Okay, and I have to run. I'm really sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just add a couple more things. They're doing Meatless Meals. They're doing I think one in person and one in Zoom. I guess one for the congregation, one for the religious school, and they're having a chef teach everybody how to do a meatless meal. And yeah, she went over it. And then we're going to do a pollinator garden. So be interested when you do your plant sale to help us.
Yes, cooperate. Yes.
We did a pollinator garden, and that was the genesis of this plant sale. So yes, we'll as soon as we have the dates, we'll certainly let the group know about it.
Great.
Thank you. Karen.
Hi, Sheree DeVila in Bedford Corners, and our big project is creating and adopting a sustainability philosophy for the congregation, which goes from top to bottom, and and we have a draft of it now that is in the hands of a few leaders of the congregation. Our green team, added all different parts of it. It's not like hyper detailed with it's strategy as opposed to tactics and overall philosophy. Like this is what we want to be as a congregation. We want to reduce our emissions. We want to measure where, a baseline, and then continue to measure and share our progress with our congregation. And it goes through, a lot of different things, the building, of course, the grounds, how we do events, what we do in our religious school, what we expect of our clergy to speak about this, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's intended to be comprehensive, and it's intended to be the real deal. And it's supposed to say zero tolerance about certain things. And I'm so sick and tired of, trying to do something and then I'm not there, which is 99, a lot of the time. And, it's not happening, or somebody from the green team isn't there. And so, oh, oops, we put this in the wrong place. But so that's sort of the biggest picture is we're going to adopt this philosophy as soon as possible. From a tactical point of view, we're, doing some things in the meantime, but as part of our overall philosophy, we're going to do things as a congregation, and then we're going to share ideas for you to do as congregants, so we can have this multiplier effect into the community. And so, with Tu B'Shvat, we are having actually a Tu B'Shvat Seder this week, and we're going to talk about some of these green ideas. But we've sent out 2, and there'll be a 3rd email with, okay, and here's what we did as a congregation, and here's what you can start doing. And they're smaller things, but they're what we've started. And one is we planted a few oak trees on our campus last year, and so there's the DEC, the New York State DEC seedling sale. It started January 3rd. So we suggested people go in because they're very affordable, and you can get, saplings or seedlings or whatever they call them. And the other is to get an energy audit. We did an energy audit as a congregation. There are ways to get one, but a small one has Bedford 2030 offers a free energy coach session. So we're encouraging people to sign up for that. And the last thing is we are going to start composting with Curbside Compost out of Connecticut, and we're giving people the link so that they can consider doing that. Obviously, they can do it themselves. They can deposit it, and we have a Bedford a drop-off point. But this is just another, for those people who want to, you don't have to think about it, about getting rid of it. You have to think about accumulating. But anyway, so those were the 3 things that we're, that we just very tangible things for now. And I think, you know, and I've shared this before, that the great news is we have a lot of will to do this. And the bad news is it's important, it's imperative we hurry. It's imperative we have enough money and that we do a lot. And, you know, we're all facing that. So it's challenging, but we have the will. Now we just have to make it happen.
It sounds spectacular to me, and the most impressive is really coming up with a policy that the temple will follow. I mean, I understand how gigantic of a project that is, and extraordinary to get it down on paper and agreed to, and then it becomes the law. So
yeah, well, you sent around that link last time, one of the resources you sent, and I looked at it, and it's good. It's not great. It has a lot of like, here's a worksheet. And I want to say, like, we will never, when there's zero tolerance on plastic water bottles. There is, you know, vendors have to agree to not have, you know, single-use plastic. We have to, you know, go for renewable energy. I mean, so it's like, you know, from smaller to, you know, it starts with some of the bigger things, and it's measuring it. Yes, I'm happy to share. It is a draft, but I'm happy to share what it is. There's no pride of authorship.
that would be great.
Know,
Yes.
if everybody adopted this and made it better, if everybody looked at it, made it better, and we all adopted it, it would be a win, you know, for the planet, and nothing would make me happier.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. Jane, you're on.
Hi, I actually would love to have Marlene talk about our thoughts for this year's project, and maybe I can just afterwards add in.
Chime in. Okay. Marlene, unmute yourself. You're muted, Marlene.
Yep. Sorry. I just, you know, I had hoped to be a little further along, but a meeting that we were supposed to have with our How Green, you know, we had this How Green committee in our community of the temples and churches, was postponed because of COVID and lots of other things. But basically our idea is to make our congregations in Larchmont and Mamaroneck, if possible, what's called the equivalent of a green zone. We're actually calling it something else because green zone is a protected, you know, it's a patented name.
Oh, too bad. It's a good name.
It is a good name, but we have changed the name. I've forgotten right now what it is. But basically the idea is that you should landscape your congregation's grounds in a sustainable way. And there is a whole program for that. Mulch mowing, no pesticides, only electric, preferably even not electric. You know, we in the village of Larchmont are the first community around here that has banned gas blowers totally, and electric only in April and from October 15th to December 15th. Now we have to, that happened on January 1st. Now we have to implement it. And the idea is hopefully the congregations can convince their landscapers to follow these procedures. And that would be a big plus for breathing, for the kids breathing, for the environmental justice, because the landscapers are breathing in this stuff. They're also, their hearing is being affected. So we're looking at it from many different angles. And my view of it is the kids, the young people, as was mentioned, are frantic about climate change. And if we can't do this one little thing to get rid of gas leaf blowers and change the way we take care of our lawns, we can't save the planet. So that's how I sort of look at the whole project. Jane, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I think on March 1st, we have a
Workshop, right.
Training for landscapers, and we're going to try to get our landscapers to attend. You know, just in addition to that, I think it's 3 years ago that we tried to, and you know, go to a only compostable products in the building as far as our foodware. You know, with COVID, in the last 2 years, our effort, I have to say, has become really minimal because we don't have much food going on in the building. except for maybe nursery school. So I'm just anticipating that eventually when we go back to having food events, this is going to also become, again, a major educational process, since people, you know, they kind of forget their habits of composting and putting this in the right bins and all that. Everything has been sort of on hold in the last 2 years. So hopefully we'll be back, you know.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully.
And you know what you say about education strikes me, that now 2 people have said on this roundtable that the kids are, somebody just said frantic. Marlene, you said the kids are frantic about this. And although that's sad, it's also really wonderful and encouraging to hear that they get it. The grown-ups don't seem to get it, but it's very encouraging that the education is having a major impact on the kids. Thank you for sharing that. Emily, and welcome. And I wanted to say thank you, Bob. Emily is sitting in for her husband, Bob Schloss. And so thank you for being the substitute.
Well, thank you for welcoming me. I hope I'm one of the grown-ups who gets it.
Oh, this roundtable gets it for sure. So,
and I just saw that Stephen Cavey joined the group, and I hope that you'll chime in because I didn't really prepare for what I was supposed to say. I didn't know how this group functioned. So I'm on the green team at CSI in Briarcliff, which is a congregation. We've been members for about 30 years or so. The best things in my view that have happened over the past several years, trying to think of positive things, are the organic garden that that was carved out of some backyard space that the congregation has behind the building. And that's been, and there's a chicken coop with some chickens, and Bob and I and several other people at CSI have been trying to get the CSI to institute practices that are sustainable. The actual building is somewhat, in my view, of a disaster because when it was added on to just shortly after we joined, the plan was already made. There's a huge sanctuary that's almost all glass. It was attached to the previous building that was built in the early 60s when most people weren't thinking so much about climate and you know, sustainable building. But in 1993, I think this was added on, and it's really you know, hard to do climate management inside the building. And it's they had some solar panels put on a number of years ago that apparently don't work that well. So those are some negatives, but we're trying to figure out how to institute composting. The garden does composting of vegetable matter and stuff, but I recently went to visit a site in Cortland Manor that takes all manner of materials for composting, you know, all the things you can't do in your backyard, like bones and oils and cooked food and all that. And they are the hauler that brings away the trash for CSI. But we haven't really had a green team meeting for a while. Bob, as some of you know, had open heart surgery about a month ago. And so that's been occupying us. He's doing really well. But anyway,
Good.
When I've been to services, the recycling, the minimal amount of recycling that has been instituted was not really being, it was mostly being observed in the breach. And it's quite frustrating. CSI is also a congregation that's been losing membership for a while. At one time, with the echo of the baby boom, there were something like, I think maybe 600 families. I think we're about half that now. And the Hebrew school is not that, there aren't that many children. I don't know exactly how many children there are in the Hebrew school, but there's a part-time new director, a new education director. And there was some discussion about meeting with the youth group to talk about the composting. And that hasn't happened yet. Steve, I'm probably forgetting stuff. Would you like to add anything, please? Unmute yourself.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I was busy with something else. I had sent a message to everybody that I was really just going to be
Yes, Steve said he
listening
was
in. I
going to be
listened.
quiet and listen.
And
Right.
I was on a business call halfway
Yeah.
through your discussion, Emily, and my apologies. Multitasking doesn't.
No
really work.
problem.
No, I think you guys, what I I'm sorry. Can you hear me? I
Yes,
also have a
we can
very
hear you. Yep.
Okay. I think you covered pretty well the general situation at CSI, and I think there's a lot of ambition to accomplish a lot of things, and I think over the course of time we'll probably achieve some of those goals, but it's challenging for all the reasons Emily outlined.
Thank you. And thank
I'm
you for
really
listening.
inspired by Marlene's discussion about the leaf blowing and Karen at Chariots Field and the philosophy, the sustainability philosophy. I'd love to see that. And there's so much good stuff going on. By the way, I don't know if any of you have joined the Bold, Brave climate meetings that are happening in the evening. I attended the one on, let's see, today's Wednesday, Monday evening, and it was young people. I think if you go to Bold, I forget the link, but there were like 6 or 8 young people from high school through college age talking about their commitment. It was really, really inspiring. It made it, like we got to be hopeful.
So there's another one with the
Jewish
kids.
Climate Fest.
Yeah, so there's another comment with the kids. I'm having a double reaction to that. It's wonderful, but we don't have time. So they've got to get us to get moving. Okay, I'll shut up. Thank you, Emily. Hannah, you're next.
Hi. I'm lurking off screen. I hope that's okay with everyone. I'm excited to be here and listen to everything everyone is going on. I work for Hillels of Westchester. And we've been in person, we've been virtual, we've been all over the map, and we don't know what this next semester is looking like. So my participation here is really to listen in and see what everyone else has going on and see if there's any amazing ideas I can snatch, like the collecting plastic to create benches. Like that feels very applicable on college campuses.
That's great.
So right now we don't know what we're doing because we don't know if we're going to be virtual or in person. Yeah. And that makes all the difference in the world. So that not much to share, but I just want to thank all of you for what you're doing.
What I would ask of you, since what we're hearing among other great things here today is that it's the young people that really are stepping up, getting it, and getting ready to take the reins on this. So once you do get going in person, I presume, keep coming, or have someone from Hillels come, and actually having a student come would be wonderful. Mm-hmm. And tell us what you're doing, because it keeps all us retirees motivated.
Absolutely.
Making me feel very hopeful. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay. Robin,
I already spoke Greenberg Keeper Center. So,
oh, sorry.
yeah.
Your box moved
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to
on my
work.
screen. Okay, that's everybody who is here on the call. We will send around the links to some of the wonderful things that have been talked about here, including the benches, including Karen's policy, which I think is spectacular. Anybody want to add anything or ask for anything before we conclude?
I just want to encourage people, because we've been talking about young people today. There is a program at Mamaroneck High School called OKRA, and I can't now remember the acronym. A teacher named Joe Liberty starts a program in freshman year, and it goes up through the seniors. And they do things like trying to encourage voter participation and sustainability and that type of thing. They've done a big program on food waste. They're even picking up scraps around the community. Check out Okra. Check out Joe Liberty. It's an incredible program, and I think other schools and maybe they find a teacher to copy that.
Maybe we could get him to come talk to us. That would be great.
I'm sure the kids would love to talk.
That would be spectacular too.
They spoke
Thank you.
yesterday. Okay.
Is somebody going to send out notes of the information that?
We don't take notes, but this is recorded, so Pam can send to the people who are on this Zoom. And also I see that a number of people who we have asked to share links or whatever have done that already, so that'll go out in an email to everybody. Judy, yep.
I just have one more thing.
Yep.
I have an idea that we've been working on and people are chiming in, and it hasn't happened yet. But the idea is to have a series of discussions. Bob Schloss did something like this, but a series of discussions about money and climate, because money is driving everything. And there are major forces at work that can be helpful. So if we would hear from them, we would be less in despair and have more direction.
I'm smiling because that's a theme of Don't Look Up. If you haven't seen the movie, they talk
Okay,
about
I guess
that.
I have to see it.
You
All
got to
right.
see that movie. Beverly, yep.
Following what Judy said, and Bonnie, if we could have a list for us, it would be great. The organizations that we could get money from, because we're going ahead with something, because that's, with the renovation and everything, there's definitely that's a crisis going on, and we don't want to ask our congregants for money again. So, that would be helpful, like the changing of the light bulbs and the fixtures. So,
So Bonnie, maybe you want to take that on as a little project to put together a list of resources, of rebates, etc. That's your bag. You're muted. You're muted.
My company does that for everybody. Most of these places you can't get the rebates for yourself. You have to go through approved contractors to do this. So you could go to Con Ed's website and look at a list of approved contractors, or NYSERDA's website and look at a list of approved contractors. And you can call any of them. And we'd be happy to do the lighting audit for you for free and work it up for you and let you know exact. I mean, we have connections right into Con Ed's system. We upload and download information all the time. So we could do that for you. You could have 3 different companies do it if you wanted to. And if you're interested, I'm happy to send one of my auditors out to do that and work it up for you.
that would be great. I think so. So I'll get in touch with you.
Sure.
Also, if anybody would like to come visit our passive house in Ossining, a house that we rehabbed and moved into about 1.5 years ago, I welcome you to contact me.
She's put her her email and her phone number in the chat if you want to copy it down before we leave the meeting. Okay, this has been once again inspirational and productive. Thank you all for what you're doing. And to be continued, I hope someday in person before the year ends, but we'll see. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Chief.